Today I'm out in the garden again, and I'm working on pruning and training my tomatoes to grow vertically. I've got several things that I'm addressing as I'm doing my pruning. First off is down here, anything that is touching the soil needs to be removed. We don't want anything to touch the soil. And because my water comes out of this pipe, I'm going to cut that off at the same height as the pipe so that the leaves aren't constantly getting wet. A leaf that's constantly getting wet, you're going to see more possibility of blight. I don't want those leaves wet. So I'm going to go ahead and prune everything. Yep. Let's just take that guy off entirely. That's hanging low. Okay, now let me see if you can see it. Probably not. Maybe. Right down here I have got a fruit set. And that looks like it may be one of my Amish paste. Anything that is below the lowest hanging fruit in the way of branches is going to get pruned off. There's nothing underneath this one. This one's good to go, but anything that's underneath your lowest hanging fruit, go ahead and prune. Also, let me move that just a little bit. Between these two tomato plants, and I'm going to pull this up just a skosh. At any point where these tomatoes are overlapping, like here, I want to prune that. So I'm going to prune those two like that. I want to be able to see daylight between those two plants. It's a little more critical in the early stages because they're so close together. As they grow vertically, they're going to have more room to spread out, and you're going to let that tomato grow out a little bit more. But we want enough air and light to get in here to this tomato. And I've got a couple little suckers. I'm going to go ahead and prune my suckers as I go. There's one up here near the growing tip. You can't see it, it's out of frame, but I don't need to show you what a sucker looks like. Alright, I've been shooting this over the course of a couple of weeks, trying to get several good examples of what to look for when you're doing your pruning. Here's another example of pruning off everything below the lowest set of fruit. And as you can see, I've got Amish paste tomatoes here, and underneath them there are several leaves growing off of the main stem. All of the leaves down here, all of that stuff can get pruned off, and I'm just going to real quick show you what that looks like. So, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Now, also, out past this fruit, you see my set of flowers here. I'm going to go ahead and pop that off too. Oh, there's one down here, a little sucker trying to grow. Let's get rid of him. And look at that. That is how it should look. Let me try these over here. Just like that. And as it grows up, after these are harvested, they're done growing, I will cut that as well, and then I'll move up to the next set of fruit and go from there. And here's another example of what you can prune. Underneath these tomatoes, and this is my lowest set of hanging fruit, I've got a bunch of leaf matter. It's kind of in the way when I'm applying my weekly feed, when I'm running the hose to water in my weekly feed. Alright, let me go ahead and prune these guys up. So again, anything that is below the low-hanging fruit gets to come off of there. Just like so. And oh, look at that sucker I missed. Huh. Pretty big. Something else I wanted to talk about is this twine that we're using. This is baling twine, and this is 170 pound rated twine. The poundage is not as important as the diameter of this twine. They have commonly available also a 110 pound twine. The problem with the 110 pound twine is I think the dog wants to go inside. Crazy dog. Okay, I've got the dog quiet. The problem with 110 pound test twine or anything smaller than the 170 is the diameter. The 170 is the absolute minimum that you want to use, and the reason this is important is it's not so bad right now, but when this tomato gets 7 or 8 feet tall and there's 10, 15, 20 pounds of tomatoes on this plant, anything that is a thinner diameter twine than this high dog will cut into the outer layer of this stalk, and all of the nutrients, all the water, everything for this plant is passing through this outer layer. So what you end up with is a plant that you've strangled. It will die and you'll lose it. And it's tempting to find and buy the 110 pound baling twine just because it's cheaper. Don't do it. You're going to kill your plants, not just your tomatoes, your melons, your cucumbers, your squash that you're growing vertically. All of those things, you'll kill them. So stick with 170 pound or better. All right, after your tomatoes get a little bit bigger and you have started to pull tomatoes off of it, this is what your plant should look like. Over here, you can see I have taken a bunch of tomatoes off and all of the vegetation has been removed. It's going to look bare like this in your Mittleider garden. Over here, you can see there is no plant growth down there with the tomatoes. Everything at and below my tomatoes has been pruned off, and that's what they should look like. Yesterday we came out here and we took 35 or 36 pounds of tomatoes off of these plants. Not just the ones in the screen here, there's about twice again that much off to the left, but this gives you an idea of what is possible in your Mittleider garden if you're growing vertically. Alright, this is going to close out my little video here on pruning tomatoes. I just wanted to show you what my tomatoes look like. Today is July 26th and I need to spend some time working on these tomatoes. And you can see like this guy here is grown up above my wire. I need to untie my string, lower that tomato plant down, wrap the twine around the plant and retie it. That plant, or let me back up, that wire that you may or may not see right here is 7 feet high. So that tomato plant is probably pushing 9 feet tall, and it's got a lot of life, a lot of growth left in it. Thank you for watching my videos. If you would be so kind as to like and comment, tell me what you like about it, you don't like, what you do differently, or even what you would like to see in a future video. Thank you much.